Welcome to the Rocket Right Show, starring Hurricane Betsy Barnes and Dr. K. Solar. Two busy blondes with their fingers on the pulse of all things Louisiana. Events, health, leisure, entertainment, and more. It's the Rocket Right Show. And now, here's Betsy and Kay.
It's another good time on Rocket Right, and we are so glad that you could spend a little bit of time with us. We're really excited that Dr. K. Solar has returned from Nashville, and she had, that's right, she passed a good time in Nashville, and so did everyone else with her son CJ Solar's virtual concert. I had a mighty good time while you were gone. We talked about a lot of good things with some really good people. We had a really good time, but we missed you, and I'm glad you're back.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I'm excited for the show today because we've got a lot of amazing stuff going on.
Yes.
And yes, in our Partners One studio, we are featuring Dr. Danielle Causey with the Causey Metaesthetic Group.
Hello.
And I can't wait for her to tell you about all the cool things they got going on there. So that is
And she has
awesome.
quite a story. She does. And then we're going to have our state fire marshal, Butch Browning, who has been quite busy, starting with COVID-19 and all the things he was doing to keep people safe and some of the different phases of restrictions. But then, very unexpectedly, Hurricane Laura, Hurricane Delta have really ravaged the southwestern part of the state, and Butch has been on top of everything from search and rescue to recovery to building inspections to keeping everybody moving forward through all of that, and it has been quite a journey. And he's going to be our guest in our second segment, and then we're going to talk with Dr. Mindy Bowie.
Because
She's
we're
returning.
wearing
That's
pink
right.
because
It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
And so we're going to be talking with the expert, Dr. Mindy Bowie, about everything that you need to know to keep you and your loved ones safe. And be sure that they're not forgetting those screenings that so many people did during these
That's
COVID
right.
times.
If you love a woman, make her go to the doctor. Make her get her checkups and get caught up. It's not too early to plan for 2021 and make those appointments. We're only a few weeks away.
And then, hey, we're going to be drinking some wine, and we've got Stick Newchurch with Rouj Creole. Join us because they have a Halloween wine dinner coming up that is going to be amazing. The food's amazing, the wine's going to be amazing, and stick around because he is going to let us do a little tasting. Bets.
Yeah, and we're really thankful for.
Yes,
That's right.
okay.
And we're really thankful for the sponsorship of City Group Hospitality, Rouj Creole, City Pork, City Slice, City Pork Catering, and soon to be Beau Soleil again.
I just can't eat at enough good places.
And they're also Partners One members.
Yes.
Yes, so we're so excited that you could come and be with us so we could spotlight your business.
Absolutely.
And you've really got quite a few things going.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much for having me. And we really do. So I'm at Causey Metaesthetic, and we are a medical spa that we opened up recently about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And one of the brand new things that we've got going on is Pdo Threads. So we do a lot of facial aesthetics.
What is that?
Botox. We do fillers. Everyone is aware of those things, but Pdo Threads are some of the newer things in facial aesthetics. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and you've just pulled on your skin a little bit and said, oh, I wish that things were a little bit tighter right here.
I do that all the time. I tell Betsy I want a permanent ponytail. If I would just kind of lift this. And I think if I sat in her chair, that side of my face is not as saggy. But
I think
anyway.
every man and woman wants that.
Absolutely. And especially these days when everyone is looking at themselves on the Zoom videos, and we're just a lot more hyper aware of what our face looks like, especially even right now. But what the Pdo Threads are able to do is give that lift and give that smoothing of the skin in a very non-invasive way to where we can really contour the skin and the face.
How do you do it?
I think that we have a before and after picture to show you too up there of what this looks like, because it is non-invasive.
Wow,
it's something
that's
that you
a big
can do.
difference.
And on the after, that's probably pretty right after.
Absolutely. That's an immediate after right there.
Yeah.
So you are seeing, I can actually see it as we're putting the threads into the skin, and I'm manipulating the skin to pull and stretch and smooth. So I'm working the skin, even though you're numb, you will feel me pushing with some pressure to really get that lift and to get that tug and to get that smoothness. So it's an immediate result. You will have long-term results as well, because these are dissolvable sutures, and as they're dissolving, they're actually getting your skin to form more collagen in the place where the suture was, where the thread was. So you get instant results and you get long-term results also.
Yeah, so I think what folks are seeing on the screen is the little device that goes in that puts the threads, and it's so tiny through tiny little incision spots.
It is. So if you've ever had a cut or an injury and needed a stitch, it's very similar to the stitches that you would have had in another type of medical procedure. But with some of the newer ways that we're using these stitches is we're burying them underneath. There's no scarring, there's no visible sutures, but we're able to get that pulling and tightening, and these are dissolvable, so you don't need to remove them. So it's a very fantastic new way to use an older technology.
Yes.
That is something, I have never heard of that.
I know.
So you've introduced me to something completely new.
I know, how fun, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, let's
That's
talk
amazing.
about, because I want you to share with folks how you got in to the facial aesthetic part,
right,
from your background as a dentist.
My background as a dentist, absolutely. So I started my dental career a few years ago, and because I was always very hands-on, very artistic, I love to mold and to sculpt and to work with shapes, and I love things that are beautiful. I went and gravitated towards cosmetic dentistry, towards smile design, towards reconstructing teeth, and towards making people feel confident and beautiful with their smile.
That's wonderful.
Well, it makes me feel so good to give someone their smile back. It's one of the biggest joys that I have. And then it was a very easy transition for me to go from working inside of the mouth to working outside of the mouth, because I'm still looking at facial aesthetics, I'm still looking at the structures of the face, I'm still looking at all of those tissues, and I've already earned my patients confidence and comfort with working with me because I've already done some pretty invasive stuff inside their mouth. They were like, Dr. Causey, you can do whatever you want to my face. So at that point, I started my journey into the facial aesthetics with Botox and fillers, found out that I absolutely loved it, and continued my journey a little bit further. The more I got into it, the more I wanted to learn, the more I just had to know about it all. And that's what leads me to some of the newer technologies like those Pdo Threads.
Well, and let's talk about the lips. So right around those beautiful sparkling teeth that you help make in the smile. Let's talk a little bit about the lip augmentation.
So I have been slowly becoming known here in around the Baton Rouge area as being the go-to place for lips. I love them. I love everything about lips. I love big, beautiful, juicy, plump lips. I love natural lips.
I think most people do.
Yes.
I love smooth lips, and I really love a very good shade of lipstick. So all of these things come together, and I just have always enjoyed working with lips and doing the lip filler. I use a very painless technique because I have all of the knowledge from dentistry on how to do the full
so you can
dental
numb
and
up
full
those
facial
lips,
numbing. So I get my patients so
I'm a weenie when it
comfortable.
comes to like
pain-free
Absolutely.
aesthetics.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Well, we minimize the pain as much as possible. But as with anything, there's always a little pinch. But it is so worth it in the end when you see those results.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I think we have a before and after of some lip augmentation too, that we can show folks out there.
Oh, yes. There we go.
And those are immediate afterwards,
Those
right?
are all immediate after results.
None of these are like, 3 weeks down the road or...
Yeah, those are pretty much immediate. But anytime we do some lip augmentations, I always talk to my patients about the journey that you're going to experience with lips. Because lips are so volatile and they're so vascular and they swell so much that you pretty much have to give your lips about 2 weeks before you can really see the full, true shape of what they're going to look like.
Mm-hmm. And so really
Good to
that
know.
isn't scary. You know, you see some pictures of people in Hollywood and others, and you can definitely tell they might have gone a little overboard. Some of them just look a little too
Tweety Bird.
A little too Tweety Bird.
You're absolutely
but
right
those
with
look
that.
really great.
Well, thank you very much, because you're absolutely right, and that is not the Baton Rouge aesthetic. That is not what the women here are going for. We want the big, beautiful, juicy lips, but we do not want to look like we just stepped out of the plastic surgeon's office,
right.
or that we're overdone or stuck in a wind tunnel. Nobody wants that.
That's right. So you're not practicing dentistry at all anymore, or you are? You're
Yes,
still a
I
dentist.
am.
I'm just
Absolutely.
So you go to get
Yeah.
your teeth cleaned, wink, wink, and you come out with big, beautiful lips and clean teeth.
Well, let's talk
Absolutely.
about where your current practice is, but you are also opening and have a big grand opening, she does,
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
aesthetic location for a dental office.
So our original location, our original dental location in Prairieville, is now going to be joining Causey Med Aesthetic with a new sister location, and we're having our grand opening on November 14th. That's a Saturday.
Oh, we need
Y'all
that.
make sure to come and check it out. We're hosting it from 9 to 3, and we're going to have so many prizes, selfie stations, we're going to have a mimosa bar, and a few other fabulous things that you should definitely come and check out that day.
That sounds wonderful. We need to go celebrate that. We love to support
Absolutely.
women in business, and especially new businesses that are growing. We want to do that.
Well, thank you for the
and
support.
So,
Yes.
we only have a minute, but tell us about since you joined Partners One.
Well, we absolutely love Partners One. We have a lot of our patients who find us through the Partners One website, and one of the things that they're super excited about is that you can use your Moxie dollars towards Botox, towards fillers, towards Pdo Threads, towards skincare. We have a skincare club that a lot of our Moxie members are using their monthly payments with Moxie, and they're just really appreciating that.
So if you want to know more about Moxie and what we're talking about, go to partnersone.com. You can join and become a member like we are. Better barter for Baton Rouge with over 700 businesses, and
Yeah.
we highly recommend Partners. Thank you so much, Dr. Danielle Causey.
Thank you
I think
so
we're going to
much.
have to come see Danielle.
You know what? And I think we're going to have you back because there are so many other procedures that you
Yes.
do. You have a lipstick line
Oh,
and
yes,
lots
ma'am.
of other things that we're going to have to chat about in the future. But y'all don't go nowhere because we're going to be talking with Butch Browning, our
that's right.
state fire marshal. And then up later, Dr. Mindy Bowie. And then stick around for the wine and the best Halloween dinner planned in town.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda Shaw. We all know Louisiana is as fun as all get out. So get out, take a road trip, and explore our state. Fill her up, then try a new restaurant that's as fun-loving as it is food-loving. Grab the family and take off for monumental adventures at our 21 state parks. Or take a magical minivan tour along our 19 scenic trails and byways. Louisiana's a trip. Take one today.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaStaycation.com. Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. I've had my fair share of experiences with disasters, and I know Louisiana's helping one another is as much a part of our culture as gumbo and Mardi Gras. When it comes to disasters, you can help your community most by getting trained as a volunteer to help with the disaster recovery. For more information about this, visit the websites below and be prepared.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12, every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Buggs Show. The only thing missing is you.
Hi, I'm Tony Acorb with Southern Heirs Auction, Dental Springs, Louisiana. We've been professional estate liquidators for over 30 years. Please take time to join us for our weekly online sales on Facebook. If you need help, hit us up. We are often imitated but never duplicated. www.southernheirs.com or Facebook at Southern Heirs Auction. 500, but a good 4, but a good 300, a good 200, a good 2. I got 100 and a half, 100 and a half, 170.
Rock It Right. We are so glad that you could join us. We are very honored to have our state fire marshal, Butch Browning, here, literally right here, because he has been everywhere all over Louisiana, and we have some things that we want to share with you and some questions that we have for Chief Browning that we know you're probably interested in. And we want to thank Selassie's Jewelry and Fine Gifts for being our sponsor and making this possible. As you can see, we have a few things that are honoring Breast Cancer Awareness Month, some rubies, some gold, some diamonds, as well as a pendant with the ribbon for breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
You can see we're a little pink
I'm wearing
tonight.
my ribbon too.
That's right.
But I kind of need that ribbon.
You do need a ribbon, a little gold, a little diamond,
I like
little,
that.
you know.
And some rubies in it.
That's right.
And I didn't get the pink memo.
I know, but you know what? We're going to deliver some pink things to you so you can share it with your staff.
Betsy, I do wear pink.
You know what? Real men do wear pink.
They really do.
They really do.
I like it. It
Especially if you have women you love.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. We are so thankful that you're here because you really have been at the front line of everything that has happened with COVID-19 pandemic and the way that changed businesses and restaurants, the way we gather, places we go, where our live music is heard. And then Hurricane Laura. That was just something. So that was the double whammy. And then we had the trifecta of disaster with Hurricane Delta. And thank you for your service and everything that you've done, because you've been on top of everything having to do with building codes, which have changed, you know, occupancy, with anything with any fires, disasters, anything where a first responder is needed. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, first off, we have the best first responders in America in the state of Louisiana. There's no doubt about it. What our first responders do every day is phenomenal. You know, I'm proud to have 200 employees in the state fire marshal's office that repeat that same act of goodness every day, and we just go to the table to make things better. And the reality is, what our first responders do, from the pandemic to certainly these hurricanes, you know, people are alive today because of what they've done, and I'm just very honored to be a piece of that. I've been doing it for 35 years, and I'm just kind of learning my way now. You know,
you're just now learning your way after 35 years. I think you got this down pat.
Yeah, thank you. But I appreciate that. But it's really a tribute to our great first responders, you know, all across our state, because we just could not do it without them. They're very committed people.
So about how many homes have you inspected between Hurricane Laura and Hurricane Delta to get people back in safely?
And that's very interesting. You know, we actually received a commendation from FEMA just weeks ago on our way of surveying, our secondary searches. You might have heard that when we sent our urban search and rescue teams in, both in Laura and in Delta, almost 500 folks, and only about 150 of those were Louisiana folks. You know, we brought our neighboring states, the same states in you know, like in South Carolina and Florida that we responded to for their hurricanes. We now have reciprocating agreements, and when there's a disaster in Louisiana, they're our first call. So we had almost 500 boots on the ground to do search and rescue. Laura was very scary for us because unlike past storms, this was a catastrophic wind. We predicted major building destruction, which we had. So we had to do these secondary searches. We conducted between the two storms about 125,000 surveys where these USAR team members actually went to the building. Number one, made sure
Urban Search and Rescue, USAR.
Right. Urban Search and Rescue. And so they went building to building to make sure, number one, everyone was safe, no one was trapped. Number two, to give these people information on where shelters are, give them sustainment information like where's water, where's food, important things when you have no power. I mean, you know, and we've all lived those hurricanes and floods where we've lost power. I mean, these people had lost all services. And then the final piece was they made an assessment of this building. FEMA was able to use those assessments within a week of us providing it real time in our database to make that declaration of Louisiana being a major disaster. That normally takes a lot longer because it's a different group of people who have to come in when the emergency is over with to assess buildings. So we were a very big role in helping with now is recovery. And I think it's helped the governor and all these people get ahead of the game in recovery, but FEMA's very impressed with it. It's going to be a best practice. They've already talking to our people about how to deploy this across the country. So I'm very, very proud of that. I'm also very proud that people evacuated during Hurricane Laura. Had that not happened, we might have seen more injuries and possibly more deaths. But all in all, the response was very, very perfectly crafted. It's because of the wisdom of all of our emergency planners. You know, our relationships that we have in local government, state government, and federal government. You know, I was a 21-year local government guy before I got to the state, and I hadn't been ruined yet. I think I'm doing a good job.
You are doing a good job.
But you know, so I know the importance of where the rubber meets the road, and that's where our local mayors, our local parish presidents, our local emergency managers, and it really worked well. I mean, the communication is tremendous. So you know, I feel like that. You know, we've learned a lot, but you know, this is the worst storm that we've had in Louisiana since Hurricane Katrina.
That's right.
Obviously. But there's a vast difference. Hurricane Katrina was more of a flood event where this was a major surge, you know, catastrophic surge, but a major structural damage event. So the recovery in southwest Louisiana is going to be very large. We're still there. We're still there. We're providing backup to the local permit office. Our people are doing building inspections. Our architects and engineers are doing building code reviews to help those parishes get back on their feet quicker. You know, we're still investigating a lot of fires. Just today, we had 23 people working in Lake Charles, assessing homes for people who have been staying in the hotels in New Orleans and Texas to make sure their homes are safe so they can come back to their homes. So just a lot of work to be done, but we're going to be there to the end. I mean, that's what our job is,
right.
and that's what we do.
Well, and that's going to be months and months and months. So we need to make sure the national media doesn't forget about us. But if you're in Cameron, Calcasieu, Beauregard, Jefferson Davis, Acadia Parish, even all the way up to North Louisiana, I mean, you're watching our show.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching our show.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we had hurricane.
And it's important for people to hear what you're doing and to the breadth of it. It's so much.
Right. We had hurricane winds in Washita Parish, Lincoln Parish. I mean, it was, you know, it was very unusual. A lot of damage.
It's good to know that people who are this committed, that communicate so well together, are on the ground.
Yeah, well,
boots on the ground.
Well, success is all about relationships. And
yes.
when you can build positive relationships and you can have people's cell phone numbers, I mean, you can move some mountains real quick.
So another topic, COVID-19 pandemic. I think most of the time when people get sick, the fire marshal's not called in to really do anything. I don't think that he has to be. No responsibility really there unless there's a big overrun at a public place or something, a shelter or whatever. But really, when there's a major illness, we've just never had anything like this. Nobody had, and there was no book written on it, no way to train for it. And you were having to, go along and do what you knew you could do. But there was a big learning curve, but everybody very quickly communicated. But it affected a lot tourism, our seafood industry, because we don't have orders, so many industries. Right. But one of the things that we've been doing is we've been promoting our Louisiana musicians, hoping that we could get back to doing what we do, which is dancing, eating, having a good time.
And our fairs and festivals.
Fairs and festivals.
We hadn't they've been like, all moving to 2021.
Sure.
So
some people were assuming you were kind of the bad guy, keeping everybody out of the business, out of the buildings. But you weren't the bad guy. You were the guy.
I look like a nice guy, though.
You are a nice guy. You are a nice guy.
Well, so let me just tell you how this all is unfolding. First off, I think the Fire Marshal's office was the right agency to be the educators, because you're right, there was no book, there was no standard on mitigation measures for COVID-19. Didn't even know what it was. In fact, if we'd have been together a year ago and I'd tell y'all need to social distance, you'd be saying, you're telling me to get off of social media.
Yeah,
that's what we thought social distance meant.
Yeah.
But the reality was we had a tremendous job ahead of us. We had to educate people on mitigation measures. Whether you agreed with everything, whether you understood it, it didn't matter. The Fire Marshal's office had a job to present you the information. And we're the right agency to do that. We're the agency in state government that regulates business. So when you talk about capacities, when you talk about exiting, when you talk about egress, these are all the things that we do every day. So we have relationships with business people. And I want to think it's a pretty positive relationship.
Yes.
I mean, every day we're the people who wave the checkered flag for economic development. We bring in businesses and we shepherd people through the code process as best they can and save them money in the process. So we were the right folks to do that. So I'll tell you that, we touched over 70,000 businesses across the state in these courtesy visits, giving them information, and those business owners were hungry. They wanted the information. So a lot of success comes to that. Now, the science folks telling us what we need to do is where we are today, and we're further open today than we ever have been. And I'll touch on the live music because I know we're probably running out of time. But the live music issue, we're real close. We've just allowed some live music indoors, because outdoors it can be done. We've just allowed it indoors in a theater environment and also in a religious singing environment. And we have some measures. I think as the weeks go on, we'll start receiving requests for people to do live music. And I think what's being looked at, and the final approval to that is LDH. The fire marshal kind of gathers the information and puts it in a concise format. But I think they're going to be looking for spacing between the performers at the stage. They'll be looking for positive pressure on the stage to where air particulates from the singers don't go to the crowd. It comes back on you. Also be looking at some other things. I mean, ultraviolet lights we found have helped. Plastic sheeting, plastic plexiglass has helped. So that's kind of where we are with that. But I think that we have been a very good advocate. The fire marshal's office has taken no criminal or civil penalties against anyone. We have put out the peace pipe, and I think, again, a lot of people have not gotten sick, and a lot of people have not died because of the great work of our businesses across the state.
So maybe people could apply case by case, by venue, by event, fairs and festivals as well. Yep. And try to get everything in place to be able to do that again.
So this is changing so rapidly, as
right.
We had said earlier.
Every 30 days, every 30 days.
And hopefully we're going to just continue to get better, and we'll move through these phases. And some of the things that don't even have to do with phases, like the HVAC and stuff, will be something that will ultimately go away at some point down the road.
They need to contact us. I will say fairs and festivals are allowed under a special approval, so we will start seeing amusement rides soon.
Well, we plan to have you back in November. By then, we hope to be in another phase. Who knows what'll happen with the Saints going in the Superdome? Saints fans, because they're allowing that now as of this week. So things could be changing, but we just thank you so much.
It's an honor to be
Our
here.
State Fire Marshal, man on the job, Butch Browning, thank you so much for coming.
I'm going to hire you. You're a great promoter for me.
Well, I mean, it's true. It's true.
It is.
I'm just telling the truth. Thank you for coming and sharing that with everybody who's enjoying these times that are changing with us.
Yeah, we just want to help people. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, we're going to share your contact information.
Sure.
Thank you
Absolutely.
for coming, and we're going to be right back with Dr. Mindy Bowie.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.
I was diagnosed October 19th. I immediately started with a multitude of scans, and then I was having an 8-hour surgery. My biggest concern was my family and being able to see me come home every day and know everything is going to be okay. I felt comfortable that I was being treated by some of the best. There were some scary points along the way, but it's just kind of like been a little blip in the road.
Money, wellness, fun. Rocket Right Radio takes you all across Louisiana and the nation with guests who live life to the fullest.
I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
I'm Dr. Kay Solar.
You're gonna love it.
Join us every week when we cover
everything under the sun.
Live and learn with the Wright sisters.
Politics,
health,
music and entertainment,
local agnet.
Rocket Right Radio. You're gonna love it.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda Shaw. We all know Louisiana is as fun as all get out. So get out, take a road trip, and explore our state. Fill her up, then try a new restaurant that's as fun-loving as it is food-loving. Grab the family and take off for monumental adventures at our 21 state parks. Or take a magical minivan tour along our 19 scenic trails and byways. Louisiana's a trip. Take one today.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaStaycation.com.
I'm Dr. Kay Solar in the house with Hurricane Betsy Barnes, and our medical segment is brought to you each week by Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center, and we are so excited to be talking with Dr. Mindy Bowie, who is a breast surgical oncologist here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
And do you need my glasses for work tomorrow?
I know, those are great. I'm going to wear those in the operating room.
Can you ever have too much pink? No.
Absolutely. I agree.
We've been on our show several times, and you always bring such great information, and it's so important for we as women to encourage other women to actually go get some screening and to actually get those tests done that maybe through the COVID pandemic you didn't go get the screenings for.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get so broad on this and just let you go with what are some important things that women should know about this disease?
Oh my goodness, where do I begin? First of all, 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. It is the most common cancer in women in America other than skin cancers. It is the second leading cancer causing death in American women as well. Mm-hmm. So it is important to be knowledgeable about it, educate yourself about it, get your mammograms. It saves lives.
And one of the things I always hated to hear women say as a gynecologist, when I would say, and you need to get your mammogram done, the next thing that came out of their mouth was what? But I don't have any family history, Dr. Solar. And let's talk about that, because you said 1 in 8 women.
So 1 in 8 women,
risk
but
factors.
65 to 70% of those women will have no family history of breast cancer.
Yep.
So
No
I always
history.
say, family history is important, but it does not exclude you from breast cancer. Again, 65 to 70% of women that are diagnosed with breast cancer will have no family history. I hear that every day. I diagnose women with breast cancer. They say, how can I have this? I have no one in my family with it.
Right. Well, let's talk about some of the things that are risk factors. We did mention family history. So what are some other things if somebody wonders, well, am I at increased risk other than just being a woman?
2 biggest risk factors for development of breast cancer, being a woman and aging.
Oh,
wow.
darn.
It looks
We
like we
can't do
can-
anything about either one of those.
No, we cannot. Other risk factors, obviously, family history is important.
Sure.
History of previous abnormal biopsies, like abnormal cells called atypia in the breast. Those are the biggies. Genetic mutations, although that's a very small percentage of our patient population, such as a BRCA1, BRCA2 mutation. But again, the biggest risk factors, being a woman, aging, obesity, lack of exercise, sedentary lifestyle, unhealthy eating, alcohol consumption. Those are all significant risk factors for development of breast cancer. I tell my women, all their cardiologists say, well, drink a glass of wine a day. It helps you with your heart disease. Well, 1 glass of wine a day, unfortunately, increases your risk for breast cancer.
Really? That's really bad
Yeah, but
news.
maybe just
bad
twice
news.
a week is okay.
So what the rule of thumb,
it's
the rule of thumb is 3 glasses or less a week. And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow sometimes for some of us South Louisiana
average
Catholic
out in
women.
the year.
That's right.
I mean,
and what about estrogen? I've heard that higher levels of estrogen can be kind of a...
Well, that is why she said obesity, because fat cells make estrogen, which is the tie-in as to why, one of the reasons why being overweight increases that. Now, a lot of women will say, but, I had no symptoms, and a lot of times it is picked up on that screening mammogram. But let's talk about what may be some signs or symptoms that women could look for?
So first of all, let me just say, you don't have to have any signs and symptoms to have breast cancer. I have diagnosed large breast cancer in women's breasts that you cannot feel a mass at all. So get your mammograms. But lots of breast cancers do present as masses. So a mass in the breast, a change in the configuration, the shape of the breast, dimpling of the breast, a little redness over the breast, scaling of the nipple. These are lumps in the axilla, up under the armpit. These are all signs that could at least be signs of breast cancer that you should further evaluate.
And also that could be something benign, but you want to rule out the bad things. So if you have any of those things, don't think, oh, I hit my breast, maybe I don't remember it, and this thing's going to go away.
Another one I always hear
Check
is,
it out.
I have cyst in my breast, I just assumed it was a cyst. Bottom line is, if you feel something in your breast, it's increasing in size, get a health care professional to evaluate you, to look at it.
Absolutely, because it's always better to hear, no, it's benign, it's not anything, rather than you think I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and didn't. So, look, you mentioned some of those risk factors, and I think that really ties into things as women, what we can do to reduce our risk.
Right.
I mean, we'll just
so I
reiterate
talk
that
to
real quick.
I talk multiple times a day about 4 aspects of your daily living that can reduce your risk. Healthy eating. I did not say the word diet. Patients ask me, oh, what diet? What about keto? What about paleo? Well, you know what I know about those diets? They're not sustainable. The things I talk about to my patients are life-sustaining measures. These are things that you can do today and you'll still be doing 25 years from now. So healthy choices, not extreme dieting, just more green leafy vegetables, more fruits. If you're going to eat meats, fish is better than red meat. As adults, we need less carbs. We don't need all of that bread and the pastas. We need more vegetables. So less carbs, less sugars, less high-fat foods. So good, healthy eating, alcohol in moderation, as we already alluded to, no smoking, and the number one, exercise. Exercise is good for the mind, body, and spirit. Exercise significantly reduces our risk for almost every type of cancer there is, not just breast cancer.
Wow.
So I spend so much time talking to my ladies about exercise. I have women that don't have anything else to do in this world other than exercise, and then I have women that work 3 jobs and they're single moms and they don't have time, nor can they afford to get to a gym. We talk about regimens that they can do in their own home after children are asleep. Google on their phone 30-minute, 20-minute exercises to do at home. There is something, if your heart rate's going up, you're doing yourself some good. So that's the whole logic, the whole idea behind exercise and risk reduction. You alluded to earlier about decreased fat cells. The more you exercise, less fat cells, the less estrogen in your body, the less increased risk for breast cancer.
Absolutely. And let's talk about screening, because sometimes there'll be different guidelines that come out and people are confused and they didn't think they needed to get that screening because they through it changed. Let's go through that
So
real
it changes
quick.
about every 30 seconds, but that being said,
Unfortunately.
it depends on, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, the American College of Radiology still recommends screening yearly mammograms for women beginning at the age of 40. Now, if you have significant family history and your mother was diagnosed at 42, you shouldn't start at 40. You may need to start earlier.
32.
So significant,
10 years earlier.
Significant family history, you may need to start earlier. Talk to your healthcare provider about this. But for the most part, an average risk woman, age 40, yearly, until they're expected to live at least 10 more years. If they're expected to be here 10 more years, they should still be having their mammograms.
Yeah. And I'm always going to be expecting to be here for 10 more years.
Yes,
so,
always.
I don't know. Maybe at 90, I would say, okay, whatever. But
don't you think one of the biggest problems is women procrastinate because they're taking care of everyone else and everything else, and they're not putting themselves first? So this is a perfect month to remind ladies, put yourself first. If you're a gentleman who has a lady in your life, a mom, a wife, a sister, get them to put themselves first. It does not take very long to take care of some of these things. It really doesn't. I mean, give yourself an hour, hour and a half.
Absolutely.
And then you can have the peace of mind.
Well, we want to talk about what you do at the Breast and GYN Cancer Pavilion, and specifically as an oncoplastic breast surgeon.
So we offer what I say the full package at Women's Hospital. We have our surgical oncologist, our radiation oncologist, our medical oncologist, our reconstructive surgeons, the whole gamut of physicians and healthcare providers that a woman that is diagnosed with breast cancer will need. They can come to one place and see every one of their physicians. We offer the latest in advancement with imaging studies. We offer research trials. We offer the latest in advancements on chemotherapy, cool caps to help women not lose their hair whenever they're going through chemotherapy. We offer, with regards to advancement in surgery, oncoplastic surgery, nipple-sparing mastectomies, surgeries, hidden scar surgeries, surgeries that help a woman feel like a woman and look like a woman after they've been diagnosed and treated for their breast cancer.
And that's a huge change from where it was 10, 15, 20,
absolutely.
30 years ago.
And it's such a great thing with the center to be able to have everything in one place, because it's stressful enough if you were having to run all over the place to get your treatments, to now be able to have it in one spot. And we don't have much time left, but I want to make sure that we talk about the fundraising event, Go Pink. Tell us about it.
So again, this is a fundraising event program targeting individuals, businesses, schools, restaurants, anyone that wants to get involved to help raise awareness, raise funds for women or for anyone in need with regards to breast cancer. It's educational programs. It's providing free mammography for the underserved women that are unable to get it otherwise. So again, very important fundraising event that is so good for our community. The funds do stay locally.
And I think that's important to know.
Right.
And what's the date?
It's the entire month.
The entire month.
It is Breast
All
Cancer
month.
Awareness Month,
Sure.
so it is the entire month. Yes.
And to find out more information, would people go to breastandgynecancer.org to be able to
Exactly.
find out that information on the Go Pink fundraising
They sure
event?
can, and I believe there is a phone number as well that with Women's Hospital, 225-215-7600.
You got it.
Find out
I was
more
cheating. I looked down here at the notes, but you got it by memory, as you should. That is
Absolutely.
awesome.
So if you want to know more information about this, please call that number. Please visit the website. Such a good service.
Thank you so much. We always love having you. Dr.
We do.
Mindy Bowie, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
That's right.
And we hope everyone will actually go take care of themselves, get those screening, and start those lifestyle measures to reduce your chance, since you can't do anything about being a woman.
Or aging.
I'd like to go backwards on that, but that's not going to happen. And we're going to put all of this on our Facebook page at Rocket Right Radio, and check it out. breastandgynecancer.org for more information.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. I've had my fair share of experiences with disasters, and I know Louisiana's helping one another is as much a part of our culture as gumbo and Mardi Gras. When it comes to disasters, you can help your community most by getting trained as a volunteer to help with the disaster recovery. For more information about this, visit the websites below and be prepared.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Hi, I'm Tony Acor with Southern Heirs Auction, Denham Springs, Louisiana. We've been professional estate liquidators for over 30 years. Please take time to join us for our weekly online sales on Facebook. If you need help, hit us up. We are often imitated but never duplicated. www.southernairs.com or Facebook at Southern Airs Auction. 500, but a good 4, but a good 300, a good 200, a good 2. I got 100 and a half, 170.
I had a meeting with Dr. Barfield, and it kind of just hit me. It probably is cancer. After the surgery, I wasn't scared anymore. I was looking forward to getting started with chemo. Not one time did I get a nurse in a bad mood. I was here for 5 hours at a time, and I did not dread coming. To get people from around the country to come to Baton Rouge, that says a lot right there. That this place is cutting edge.
Decided to stay with us. We have a very special guest who is going to talk about one of our favorite subjects, which is wine. Mm-hmm. We enjoy a glass of wine now and then. We don't overindulge. We try to stay healthy since it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But if we are going to enjoy wine, chances are we could be at Rouj Creole, because we do love Rouj Creole, and that's located by Perkins Row if you've not been. And so we're excited that Newchurch is here, our buddy that sees us as often as we can get in there, and the general manager for Rouj Creole.
Well, thank you for having me,
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. You're welcome. So happy to be here again. I didn't dress in pink, but I brought my pink wine key.
Very smart. Pink wine key. That is awesome. You are in. And so we want to talk about this upcoming Halloween wine dinner at Rouj. Let's go. Date?
Yeah, it's going to be Tuesday, October 27th at 7 p.m. We're featuring 5 courses paired with 5 wines from vending machine wines. So if people
these wines do not come out of a vending machine.
They do not. But they are from the couple that owns vending machine they're from New Orleans. Neil Gurna and Monica Bourgeois. They're actually wine reps in the state, and they have a passion for wine. They have a very talented winemaker they use out of Napa, so it's Napa wines that are actually French Bordeaux-style wines being made in California with ownership in New Orleans.
I love that.
Wow, we love to promote Louisiana businesses.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So, if folks, I have my tickets. I don't know if you do yet.
Oh,
Betsy,
I think I need to get some tickets.
But this is going to be a fantastic wine dinner. It's going to be before Halloween, and you can wear a costume. I'm coming in a costume. I'm just saying. So, because
she loves Halloween. This is like her favorite holiday.
Even more fun than it's going to be. But the menu is fantastic, and the wines, I think, are going to be fantastic, and I am so glad that you've brought some of them for us to try. So let's talk about course 1.
So course 1, we're doing vending machine Pet Nat, which is
Pet Nat. I love the name.
Which has like a beer top on it.
It does.
Which is kind of interesting.
Would it fit in my little tiny beer koozie over here? I don't think it's going to. I'm going to need a bigger one of these. I'm just saying.
But look at that label. That is really unique. It looks like somebody's swatting a gnat.
A gnat? That's right. Which we all do in Louisiana.
That's right. We all do. And so tell us a little bit about that one.
So we're talking about this off the air. Pet Nat, which not a lot of people are familiar with, is just the natural way of making sparkling wines. So what we call champagne and modern sparkling wines, the Pet Nat technique was what winemakers did before what we see in modern winemaking. So it's natural wines that is actually, if you see the cloudiness in the bottle, the wine, as wine's a living, breathing organism, is still fermenting in the bottle.
Very interesting.
Interesting. And that is going to go with some fabulous chilled Gulf seafood.
That's right.
Betsy,
gotta love that Louisiana seafood.
Yeah,
we're actually, it's stone crab claw season, so we're getting those claws in, as well as some Murder Point oysters. This wine pairs fantastic with these cold seafood dishes. And a place like Rouj and all these different oysters, it's phenomenal.
Awesome. Now let's move to course 2. What wine is going to go with my roasted Cornish hen citrus risotto with popcorn crema. I can't even imagine what that's going to be.
So
It's going to be so good.
So if you see, it's going to be the double shotgun. And if you look at the label of that
Double
one, you'll start to see a trend.
Okay.
These are Louisiana wines that are
right.
influenced by New Orleans and Louisiana.
They
so a double
are.
shotgun house, that wine is going to be
See,
75% Petit Verdot and 25% Cab Franc. So
Am
just
I going to
Very
be
cool.
a wine hand model
That's right.
coming up? Mm-hmm.
that should be your costume.
I could be a wine hand model. That means I have more than one glass
That's right.
of each. I'll probably do my monthly limit for breast cancer that night.
That's right.
So now let's talk about number 3 coming up.
What's the third course?
It is smoky, dry-aged pork chop with sweet potatoes and spiced cranberry aspic. I feel like the holidays.
Oh no, it's definitely getting straight right into the.
Yeah,
so I actually messed up the orders. So the first one that whenever I said we're going to do the double shotgun with the Cornish hen, it's actually going to be Lula's Revenge. So we could talk about that real quick.
Lula's Revenge.
So Lula is actually interesting thing about this one
Let's
is
see if we
it's
can get it
spelled
closer.
Loula. So it's Louisiana twice.
Lula.
So that was the
I love
thought
it with the
behind
wide
it.
open
love
mouth.
that
That's
bottle.
right. So
Look at that label.
The Lula's Revenge is going to go with the Cornish hen.
That's
and then
right,
the
'cause it's white.
That's right, and the
White
double
on
shotgun
purpose.
is going to go with the pork chop. And
I
it's got-
love the name.
You know, we're going to take 2 blending grapes from the double shotgun that you typically don't see in their own varietals. You see these in a lot of blends, and we blend them together, create this beautiful wine that's going to it's going to complement the smokiness from the pork chop. Fantastic. Actually, you know, the best thing that wine I've had with that is probably andouille sausage. So it's going to be an unbelievable pairing.
Yeah,
We love andouille.
and I love a little Cab Franc, which is the 25% with a Petit Verdot. So
And speaking of Cab Franc, we will have a surprise at the wine dinner.
a surprise.
We do have a surprise. We're actually
I love me some
the
surprises.
vending machine. They do a 100% Cab Franc called Eccentric, but they don't make it every vintage because if the grapes aren't right or they don't have enough, they won't make it. So they've been around for about 15 years now, and this is going to be the 3rd release of the Eccentric, and we're actually going to raffle off a bottle of this 100% Cab Franc. I had the pleasure of having the first vintage again a couple years ago. So these are wines that actually can sit in your cellar and on your shelf for about 8 to 10 years.
No, they can't.
They'd like to, but they can't.
Much restraint.
They like to, but you know. So, all right. So then we're gonna go with 4, which is wow. We are like so meaty on this too. I think it's like really awesome because there's so many different meat varieties with.
This is a high
different little
protein
things.
dinner.
It is high protein dinner because course 4 is ribeye, cap, nochi, and black garlic demi.
Yeah, and that's going to go with our Crooked Mare. So
Okay, that is an interesting name for this particular bottle of wine. Crooked Mayor.
Well, you know, couple from New Orleans. We know the history of mayors in that city, so yes.
And there's never
Crooked
been a
Mare.
crooked mayor in any other city in Louisiana.
That's right.
No,
Just
of course
New Orleans.
not. We're just gonna leave that alone.
We're gonna
just
leave that alone,
Yeah, but
but-
you know what? That's a very interesting label, and I think that would be a very good wine.
I love all the labels.
Yes.
It's kind of like betting your horses on the name.
It is.
I'm thinking drinking the wine by the beautiful label. That's my go-to.
That's right. And so Monica, the owner, her brother is an artist in New York, and he actually designs all the labels for him.
Oh, I love that.
story behind the story.
Yeah.
It's a family deal.
If you actually start meeting more wine people, you know there's always stories behind something.
Exactly.
It goes
Well,
out.
they get everybody in the family. Where you at, darling? I need a little label. Can you help me
Another
over here?
story, if you're drinking this wine and you want to tell Neil and Monica how you feel about their wine, his phone number's on every cork.
Oh, well,
Really?
which cork are we going to break open for me to try?
Wait, we're missing one
before
wine.
we get
We
to
haven't covered
dessert.
that. One more.
Okay, we're going to do dessert before I get to taste. It's the pumpkin pie tart, chocolate miso shortbread.
Yes, so this whole menu is inspired by our new chef at Rouj Creole, Noah Lassard. He's been with us about a month, so I'm very excited to have him excited about producing great food to go with these wines with people that I've had relationships for years. The horror show, we actually glass it at Rouj. It's a red blend, so you don't see many reds paired with dessert. But the idea behind the horror show is this big red, blood-looking wine, and it pairs so well with the dark chocolate. So horror show is always a blend of Saison, Tannat, which are grapes that people rarely see, and this vintage is actually using Merlot to bind them all together.
I love it. Boy, how cool.
And on the label, there's a little Easter egg. So this is the 7th vintage of the horror show. So it's on the label is the Grim Reaper with his sickle making the number 7. So every vintage they do a new label that's horror themed, and it has the vintage on it. So the 8th vintage, which will be out later this year, is actually of like vampire fangs for the 8th vintage.
That is so cool. So
That
they are
is.
collector's items.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
These are ones that you need to get, and you put your little orange Halloween lights in them, and you try to collect all of them every year. I've got a new collection.
see that happening.
I got
I
a
do
new
see that
collection
happening.
of things that I'm going to be starting. Just saying. All right. So, which one are we going to break into here?
Let's
with
go.
your little pink, wine.
With my peak wine key. Let's go ahead and bust open the horror show, because we do glass
I
in our
love
Rouj.
that, and that way I can take it home
And
and
it is
put
Halloween.
orange lights in it.
So actually, this dinner is going to be October 27th. If these wines sound delicious to you, and that meal, which sounds absolutely delectable, every single course sounds wonderful, you might need to go ahead and get a ticket.
I'm saying,
You
so
might
you
need
go
to
to
Rouj Creole.
RoujCreole.com.
R-O-U-J
And you look under
Creole.
Events.
Yes.
Under
and you
events.
look under events, and it will take you to their direct booking link, and you can get you some tickets. And I don't know, maybe next week I'll wear my Halloween outfit on the
You
show.
love to wear your Halloween outfit like 2 or 3 weeks in advance of Halloween. So I think you should.
Yep.
Gosh, that smells really good.
It is. It's a fantastic wine. This is actually, the label is going to be my Halloween costume. I'm going to
Is
be the Grim
it?
Reaper in
Okay.
honor of the horror show wine.
That is
of the label.
awesome.
So I'm
All
excited
right.
about that.
It does
Well,
smell
it
delicious.
does smell good. Now, as a wine sophisticate, how would you say that this is in your nose and describe it?
I'm going to take, just like all of the vending machine
That's-
wines, this is ready to drink.
It
So
is.
smell less
All
and drink more.
Thank goodness, I like that. No waiting 8 years or anything
That's
like
right.
that.
And it is a rich, delicious wine, so we would highly recommend it.
And so make sure, because Stick is going to be there, if you go to the wine dinner, make sure and look up Stick and say, I saw you on the Rocket Right show with
That's
those
right.
2 crazy girls, Hurricane Betsy and Dr. K. Solar. And we're so excited to have Citigroup Hospitality as a new partner on the show and talking about wine and food. Well, it's just the best.
That's right, and I look forward to having you back, because we're going to see you before you get back
Awesome.
here, because we'll see you at the
Cheers.
restaurant.
Cheers.
That's right, and if you're going to rock it, make sure you rock
it
right.
at Rouj Creole for the Halloween vending machine wine dinner.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.